Leagues 3 is drawing to a close, so today I figured it'd be fitting to do a video covering my final thoughts and progress. Overall, I was a big fan of this league. I like the fact of it being the entire world and not just necessarily the 3 areas you picked, and I thought Fragments brought something different so you could really be very specific with what types of content you were doing rather than just the broad relics you had to choose prior and basically got stuck to whichever ones you did pick. Fragments were a really good idea, and I honestly wouldn't be opposed to seeing them in any future leagues. But now for our progress, I currently have almost exactly 20,000 total league points, but I do have a good few hours to play before the leagues do officially end, so I can imagine I'm going to get anywhere from 3,000 to 4,000 more points prior to the league ending. Regardless, this will put me straight back into the tier that I always fall into, and that is the Addy tier. Unfortunately, I am still going to be in Addy Andy going into Leagues 4. One big change with this league in comparison to the prior one is I actually didn't burn out in this league. I just didn't have nearly as much time to play overall due to outside restrictions. But when available, I did play this league basically every day I had the chance. In comparison to Trailblazer, I imagine I barely played much of all in the final 2 entire weeks, until I got on the last couple days trying to no life and get as many points as I possibly could. I also left a ton of points on the board, and I'll touch on that further in a minute, but I still think I beat my prior best, which was 18,000 points in Trailblazer, so I am proud of that fact. Some of the goals I had going into this league were completing the Inferno, getting Rune Tier, achieving a pet, and then also getting front page. And in terms of goals, I think I hit 2 out of those 4 total. Once again, I'm no longer going to fall in the Rune tier, and then I also never even took a crack at the Inferno because I really just never got around to doing any of that. But as you can tell beside me, I did end up getting myself a boss pet finally. This is the first pet, boss or skilling, that I did get in leagues, so I am super pumped about this because I'll finally have a pet I can carry with me to the next league. I also ended up picking up a 3rd Age melee plate skirt. Doesn't really have any use, but it was a pretty cool pickup. But I was incredibly lucky with getting these because I completed less than 20 hard clue scrolls in this entire league. But as of my final goal, which was achieving front page in something, I did actually end up accomplishing that as well. I was among the front page for almost the entirety of the first day of leagues when I was actively playing. And I don't remember exactly, but I do know I cracked the top 10 for a good portion of that time as well. But while 20k points isn't anything to be upset about, I am a little salty that I probably could have very easily fallen into the Rune tier. And that's because later in the league, I ended up spending a majority of my time on this second account, which is my Group Iron Man account, which currently stands with almost 5,800 points. And if you compare that to getting some of the late game points on a main account that already has a ton of stats, these 6,000 points could have probably very easily been 8,000 to 12,000 on an account that I basically already had all these stats and gear to get points much quicker. The worst part of all that is I'm still going to fall short of the Rune rank once again, but after thinking about it, my main motivation behind playing on this account was the rewards I was going for. From the start of the league, the 2 rewards that I wanted the most was the whip skin along with the cannon skin. And after talking to one of my friends one day, I realized that I'm really not going to use either of those skins very often on my main whatsoever. Especially not the cannon one, considering I already have 99 Slayer. But one account that I would use those both on very often is this account. I absolutely love how both of those skins look, and even after this league ends, I'm going to get a ton of use out of both of them on this account, considering I still have 90% of my Slayer left to do. Realistically, I probably should have just played the entire league on this account, so I had all of those points at my disposal. But when this league did start, I knew I had leftover points on my main, so I was just going to add points onto that account so I could finally buy some rewards and then cash out some of the prizes I was going to get. Maybe not the best outcome looking back, considering I could have probably played this account the entire time and came very close to falling within the Rune tier, but I did have an absolute blast nonetheless. I ended up starting this account very late in league, so I literally got to redo the entire early game, which is by far my favorite part, starting fresh and just getting an absolute insane amount of levels super fast with the XP multiplier. I still have a few more points to gain on this account. I need to finish with 6,000 in order to buy both of those rewards. 1,500 for the whip kit along with 4,500 for the cannon. So with that, I better end off this video here so I can get that done before this league does ultimately end. If you guys did enjoy the video, consider dropping a like. It massively helps these out. Let me know down below what you guys thought of this league. I know a lot of people absolutely loved it, especially the fragment aspect. But at the same time, I know there was also a ton of people that didn't enjoy it nearly as much as they did Trailblazer. Make sure you also include what tier you ended up finishing in and how many total points you were able to snag. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.